Is everybody there this time? Can you hear me?
Okay, I haven't gotten a notification, so I mean,
of course, nobody's there.
I can't connect until I get a notification. That's the problem. I guess I could go to your. No, there's a notification. Okay, so now I can click. We can probably, let's see. So say something.
Well.
Yeah, get one.
Yay! Okay, I'm hanging up. Of course, the sound's gonna suck now, but I can't use this apparently. Hey, Jonathan. I guess we'll wait a little bit and try to get some more people back. We did have a good crowd. I'm gonna go over to Facebook here and tell them we're back. Everybody's on Facebook, but Facebook won't let me live stream right now. You just can't believe why Facebook won't let me live stream. I posted a change.org petition, free Tommy Robinson, in 2017. And I guess anything with the words Tommy Robinson was problematic for Facebook. So I got banned for 30 days. All right, let's just say that this is happening now again. Okay. Sound is working. Hopefully we'll get some people back. First live stream, you guys. It's going really well. Head over to YouTube. All right. We'll see if anybody comes back. Hey, David. David's back. Yo. So there's so much to talk about. I'm not going to get into, I'm going to let 5 minutes because I'm told that it takes 5 minutes, for YouTube to send out an email to subscribers. So we'll give it 5 minutes or something. But my plan is to talk about the Ayn Rand Institute and their kerfluffle. Doug is on vacation, so it's just us. I thought, what a good opportunity to take the show to the next level when Doug's gone, right? He holds me back. See how that works? So the Ayn Rand Institute kerfluffle, I think you guys will be surprised about my opinion about that. We'll talk about hydroxychloroquine, civil war, maybe, I don't know, TikTok, race, Kanye. I got lots of stuff in the news. Big news week, right? Yeah, well, he can never get his sound to work is his problem. Just kidding. Like, if I can't even get my own sound to work, how am I going to do like a double video and sound with Doug, right? It is a funny news week. Just lots of weird news, like Kanye West running for president under the birthday party. Honestly, if this isn't a troll, right? You guys are lucky I'm doing this because, can you see this pred face? I'm in a support group on Facebook for prednisone people because it just makes me feel better. And everyone in there has this face, man. People post pictures. Yeah, right? No, Kanye, man. Kanye is the master troll. People think he's crazy, but he actually has a sense of humor. If you watch some of his interviews, and there's a Forbes, well, we'll get into it, right? We'll get into it. I don't want to talk too much. We're almost up on the 5 minute mark here, and then we'll look at me. I can't help myself. So with Doug not here, you guys are gonna have to laugh at my jokes for me. So definitely in the chat, like let me know that you're stimulated by what I'm saying, and without Doug here to interrupt me and tell me to move on, what am I supposed to do? I count on you guys. That's right. Keeps my pred brain focused. I'm like, what was I saying? And then he'll just pick it up and take it. I should text him and see if he'll come over to the live feed. He's at a cabin. He's at a Midwestern lake cabin, living the good life. So I'm live doing the podcast on YouTube. Maybe come over in the chat if you get this, period. We'll see. He's probably like on a jet ski. Maybe off the grid, yeah. Maybe he's not getting this. Can't get YouTube. Those are the best cabins, right? Actually, this area is very populous. I grew up it's weird because he's actually in Minnesota. He doesn't live in Minnesota, but he went there, and he's in an area where I actually grew up going to a cabin there. And it's just the best. It's that sort of idyllic American cabin experience. So I'm really jealous. He'll have to tell us all about crazy people he encountered in rural Minnesota. Right, David? Mr. Rural Minnesota? Yeah, right. Stay away from Minneapolis. That's right. Go above Lake Superior back to the east. Hey, thanks, David. Yeah. It is Trump country. It was 4th of July last weekend, right? And I live in Orange County, which is very red. It's like the reddest county in California. But I'm in Laguna Beach, which is like the bluest of Orange County, of the city. But people here still fly flags. I mean, when I was living in Minneapolis, people didn't fly American flags in Minneapolis. So it was weird. I mean, it was like, I remember when in 2012, I didn't dare put out like a Romney sign. Not that I wanted to vote for him, but I did want him to win because Obama. But I didn't dare put it out because like my house would get vandalized. No question. So I moved to California, and the bluer state, I don't know if it's bluer, but I can actually fly a flag here. People fly flags. They're patriotic. I've seen some "Don't Tread on Me" flags flying on houses. So it's different here. And then we went to Newport Beach, which is insanely patriotic. All these like serious Trump fans. I'm not allowed to say what part of Minnesota Doug's in. I'll let him do that if he wants to reveal that. Anyway, we went to Balboa Island in Newport Beach, and there was a Trump boat parade. All these boats went by with big Trump flags on it. It was so great. Yeah, boaters. Boaters are great. All right, so let's get into the news. 10 minutes in. Okay, I wanted to cover this Ayn Rand Institute thing. So it was discovered, and I'm not really sure how the progression of this went. It was discovered that they are taking that PPP government money, which is basically a loan. I think it is. Is it a loan or is it just a giveaway? But it's for paying your employees during all of this coronavirus stuff. And it came out and it was a big news event. I mean, New York Times even covered it. So that just goes to show you how much they love to find hypocrites on our side, right? That's news. To show that even the Ayn Rand Institute is taking the handouts. Okay, it's a forgivable loan if used for payroll. Yeah, that's right. So they used it for payroll, and then they came out with this letter saying the typical, Ayn Rand said this about financial aid, that for students, that if you take it, but you are the kind of person who's fighting against it, you have more of a right to that than the moochers and the looters who advocate for socialism and then take the tax dollars and everything. So, I mean, that argument is solid. That's an Ayn Rand argument. But, and I really am of that opinion. I share that opinion because I think if you're in the, this was an example that I've used in the past and that I made memes out of this. So if you're in the USSR, if you're in the Soviet Union and you oppose that system, it's not like you don't go stand in the bread line and get your bread. It's stupid to commit suicide in the midst of this culture war and let them have all of the benefits. And I think the left is so good at using our virtue against us. And, if we, and I don't think we're hypocrites when we are taking, I don't want to say government assistance, like, food stamps, stuff like that. I don't know. The problem with this is that it looks bad, and they should have known that it would be a PR disaster for them. So the fact that they weren't sort of out front with this, and the fact that they can't really do PR anyway, they're not good at it, I just think they should have avoided it. Or hired a PR firm and come up with some kind of splash about it. They could have turned it to their advantage by saying, hey, this is an opportunity for us to get some publicity and to get our message out. And they didn't do that. Ed says the Atlas Society is making a big deal that they're not taking it. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So I regret that they look bad. I mean, I'm kind of upset with ARI and the way that they have expressed their political opinions. Hey, Doug's here. Sidekick here. Welcome, Sidekick. How's the cabin? I'm surprised you're not on a jet ski, Doug. Yeah, I mean, so here's like different things about the ARI thing. I don't want to dwell too much on this because it's news, but I'm just surprised at what big news it is. And I think that goes to show you that the left thinks it's a big deal. And then if Atlas Society can swoop in and sort of take advantage of this publicity as well to draw supporters to them and away from ARI, this is a big mistake. And I don't think their essay is enough. Like, you have to sell this idea. You have to be a little bit better at selling the idea because, man, it's just all negative as far as I can see. All negative publicity. And if you're on Brooke running around on the shows and being against Trump and with this TDS and being, pro wide open border immigration and wide open Muslim immigration, it's like that's not enough to alienate every freedom loving person in the world from ARI. And of course, everywhere he goes, he's introduced as the chairman or just from the Ayn Rand, leader of the Ayn Rand Institute. So they think that that's ARI dogma, which it kind of is. I don't know anybody else over there who's saying anything else. And that's embarrassing enough. And, and then this, I don't know, man, this is just really bad for the Institute. I think it's really bad. I'd like to have seen them do something more splashy and more controversial and more courageous, bold, related to, say, Black Lives Matters recently, which is a horrible movement, an overtly Marxist movement, and they do nothing, Let's see. Kids have swimmer's itch. What the heck is that? You get something itchy in the lake there? Bad for the Institute is great as far as I'm concerned. Burn it down, David Buckner. Yeah, well, you're a nihilist, right? Just kidding. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I agree with their position that they should be able to take it. Freedom people should do whatever we can to defeat the government, including taking handouts from the government. But, you know, it should be really explicit that we are not for it. And I don't see that they're coming out in any kind of big splashy way as against these things while taking it. They didn't do that. And so it just looks bad. It looks like they got caught with their pants down and they're coming up with an excuse. So it looks bad. Okay. I wanted to mention hydroxychloroquine because there was the study that came out now in Detroit that, you know, it's not finally vindicated or anything, but just another study supporting that it freaking works. We all know it works. And I cannot believe this has been politicized. And I don't think for a minute it's about Trump, which everybody says, oh, it's because Trump liked it. No, it's because there's a healthcare cabal, a mafia cabal that wants to control what medicines we take. And they've got a couple in the pipeline that they're going to make a ton of money on. So they don't want us to take this cheap drug. And even this study now, I mean, the results were significant, significantly increased survival rate. And this is out of just Google Detroit News hydroxychloroquine. It's out of a study done in Detroit at a Detroit university or something, if there is one. Is there a university in Detroit? See, Doug, when you're not here, I'm not accurate. I don't know anything. I don't know any of the details. I'm like a, 50,000 feet person. So they they showed that it's a significant survival rate, and they didn't even use zinc, and it was a hospital study. Oh, that's right. Not maybe a university hospital. I don't know. Done in a hospital, lots of people, a huge study, like over 2,000, and significant. But it's all hospital. So these are people who are actually taking it later than what we're supposed to be taking it. We're supposed to take it at the first symptoms before it migrates into our chest. These people had it migrated and took it and still had a better survival rate and no zinc. So it's not even the right kind of study, and they still significant. So the healthcare cabal, isn't going to be very happy with that. It's not about Trump. It's not about Trump. Hi. How do you like the live stream, everybody? See my view? Look at this view. There's a palm tree out there. It's freaking awesome. I love living here. I don't care that I'm living in the middle of blue America. 14 colleges in and around Detroit, but only 2 within city limits. Okay. They wanted as David takes it further. It's not about money. He says they wanted as many people as possible to die to spread terror. I can see that would be part of their advantage, especially when they try to mandatory vaccinate us. Doug loves the live stream. Well, thanks, Doug. You ready to be part of this? We got to figure out how to do split screen. All right, so Kanye West is running for president. That's crazy, man. I love it. He's going to pull the black vote from Biden. I might vote for Kanye, especially because he's running in the happy birthday party. Did you guys hear this? Hey, Wisconsin. Hot and stormy here. I miss Midwestern storms. We don't get them here. We get this hazy kind of rain that comes off the water. And no thunderstorms, no exciting. I love it. I miss it. You have Kanye derangement syndrome? Maybe we'll change that. KDS. Doug, you're not in Wisconsin, are you? Aren't you in Minnesota? Oh, Kim Kardashian would make a great first lady. Ed says, what a national asset. Says he wants to run the White House like Wakanda. So we're going to have trial by combat to get his replacement in 4 years. But honestly, honestly, if he runs in the happy birthday party, he's got my vote. I'm done. Like, just because that's the most insanely hilarious thing. And oh my God, right? Yeah, and now today too. So he comes out with this news that he's running for president. And he has this really great Forbes interview, which, by the way, I quoted a paragraph of that today. I kind of cut it out and pasted it. I can't remember where. And it's lucid and it's articulate, and it says about just how he doesn't like being told that he has to vote a certain way because of his skin color, and that really bothers him. And he blames the Democrats. He is so articulate. And then this morning I wake up to a Page 6 article saying that sources say people close to Kanye are saying he's in a manic episode. He's been out in the open about his bipolar disorder. So apparently now they're going after him and saying, oh, he's running for president, but he's really crazy. And that was they called that interview a rambling interview. No, dude, you got to go check it out because it's actually a really good interview. And he makes some really good points. He just slams Democrats, so they don't like it. So, yep. It's like Kanye's a runaway slave and they got to rein him back in, you know? Anyway, I'm pretty happy about this. I think that it's great. What else is in the news? TikTok. Looks like Pompeo said they're going to ban TikTok. And I was thinking about going over there and starting some videos, but not if they're going to ban it. And then I watched a Tim Pool video today that talked about how TikTok is full of bots. So the way that they get you is that they make you think you're building this fan base, and it's all your original fan base is just going to be a bunch of bots. So it's almost not even worth it. Yeah, like Soviets, if you dissent, you are going to the psych ward, Doug says. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he said he's bipolar, so that's not a secret, but whether or not he's in an episode right now, like they're claiming that he's manic. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run for president. And otherwise, he wouldn't have had this long, rambling interview with Forbes, which I read, which is actually a good interview. So they hate it. They hate that he's articulate. They hate that he's smart. They hate that he's a troll. They hate that he's funny and popular. So did you see that couple were arrested for painting over the mural and charged with a hate crime? There's just so much bad news out there in terms of that kind of stuff. Just lots of news stories of white people being vilified today, or at least that's what's happening in my news feed on my various social media accounts. But California has voted unanimously to change the Constitution to take out the civil rights era language that no race can be discriminated against, so that they can officially discriminate against white people. Yeah, right. David says that last time they tried to blame his mental illness too. Yeah. That's what they do. If they know anything about you, they use it against you. They're going to go after Tucker soon. I wonder how they're going to try to take him down. My daughter is painting a 2020 painting, and now Kanye 2020 is front and center. Yeah. I'd like to see that. So Doug, yeah, here's our opportunity to discriminate against people of color, is what Doug is saying. In California, now we can do that. Except if we do that, we'll be caught up on federal charges. It's such blatantly, the really scary thing to me about what's happening is all the inequality before the law stuff, because we're seeing that in England, and to me, that's where it gets in, civil war, because you can't live like that, especially What are all of us white people just gonna be okay with that? I mean, I guess we put up with a little bit of that. Like our kids don't have as good a chance to get into colleges, and we don't care. We don't argue about that because of white guilt. Here we've just had riots, and people are hanging out signs saying Black-owned business. That's how they get away with getting their business attacked. And we're okay with that works, if it works. But yeah, it's just a crazy world. Anybody have any questions? This is like my only live Q&A I've ever done. Let's see. Need conservative ACLU. That's from Doug. The Civil War started because of racial inequality. Right. So it could happen again, right? Only it'll be white people this time. And I think, I don't want to say you're stupid, but God, how come there are people that can't see that all of this overt, systemic, allowed, culturally acceptable, anti-white stuff isn't going to lead to like some bad stuff? That's not going to lead to genocidal activities. If you look at South Africa, which apparently the number of white farmers being attacked is really high. I was just thinking today that I can imagine this. Like, let's say you're in Oregon and you're BLM thugs and you start attacking white farmers in Oregon. You go out into the rural counties and start attacking people, and nobody will defend you because you live in a blue state. Because that's what we saw in the cities, right? Where all this bad stuff is happening and nobody would defend the business owners. Nobody was upholding the law because it's Black people. Because Black people who were never slaves, who are probably hardly ever discriminated against really in real life. They think they are, but they've been indoctrinated that way. So because they're mad, we have to be okay with laws being broken and businesses being destroyed. And so that just means they can go out to the farms too and kill the farmers, right? Why not? That's what's happening in South Africa. That's like what's going to happen. I'm not being hyperbolic. There's a lot of white people here, though. So, there'll be a lot of people who stand up against it. I don't want to be herded into my race. I think Tucker's right that we can't go down that road. We shouldn't go down that road ever. We should always be for a colorblind society and equality under the law for everybody. Yeah, Doug's mentioning the book Into the Cannibal's Pot by Ilana Mercer about the South African situation. No, my cat has not eaten the coyote yet. My cat is smart. He's staying inside. So after he got kidnapped by 2 neighbors and then followed into the yard by 3 coyotes, he's done. He's just hanging out inside. So we're kind of good. What's with the Atlas Society working with Richard Salzman? Okay, so Richard Salzman is a prominent objectivist intellectual. He got his PhD from Duke. He's an economist. And I know the guy, I know him well. He's spoken at every OCon I've ever been to. And you can agree or disagree with him, whatever, but that's his status. You know, he's one of the priests of the cult. Friend of Leonard Peikoff's. Okay, so he made this really big bashing emotional statement on Facebook, an anti-ARI statement, basically calling out on Kargate. And then right after that, TOS that he wrote for, and he was on the banner, I guess, of the Objective Standard publication, TOS threw him under the bus, like the night of his rant on Facebook, which was disappointing, I thought. So what's he going to do? He's got to make some money. He's an intellectual, so now he's hanging out with the Atlas Society. It's so David Harriman, right? David Harriman's, that happened with him. he got so criticized by objectivists that he's like, fine, I'll just go talk to these objectivists. Kind of weird. Objectivism is a weird group. Katie Hopkins said last year 3 times as many white farmers were murdered that year than South African police. Jeez. You notice you don't hear anybody offering to give those white people refugee status? We're all about refugees, but not white ones. Doug wants reparations for Barbary, pirate slavery. Okay, let's start a movement. Actually, that would be the most hilarious movement. A total troll. It'd be so fun. He went after Euron in a weak way. Well, what do you think? Like, just because he didn't really provide any evidence. He just to me, that was just like a Facebook rant. We've all had those, right? I suppose he should write an essay explaining himself. You know, if you're an intellectual and you're going to make that kind of a pronouncement against the organization that's been supporting you, probably he should have done it more reasoned and more deliberately. Yeah. He used to trash Kelly. Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, with a plan, right. Yeah, with a plan. It's just like ARI screwing up their whole PPP thing. These people, like, honestly, they just don't get how things look. It looks bad. You got to do some PR. But they don't bring in normal people. Like, they bring in these sort of big, brainy, intellectual people who aren't very good at that stuff, you know? All right, what do you guys want me to talk about next? Tucker said we're in a post-intellectual place culturally, that it's past time to be giving arguments. I don't really like that. He said that on a Federalist interview, Federalist podcast. I don't like that formulation because I don't think we're ever in a post-intellectual place, but I think his point is that, you know, you can't convince a lot of these people. You just have to come out morally and take a stand. You just have to be like, no, stop. No more explanations, no more qualifications, no more. I mean, we've been making this case, Doug and I have been making this case on the podcast a lot. It's time to just forget it. I mean, you just can't talk to these people. If they call you a racist, laugh in their face. No, I'm not a racist. Okay, David says, stop giving ARI an out by assuming it's incompetence or tone deafness. They're doing it on purpose. Yeah. Ideologically, they are very anti-Trump. They're very pro-open borders. It's kind of a libertarian organization. I'm kind of ready to find out that they're taking Soros money. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. They're taking PPP, is it PPP? And Soros money. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. They're basically ideologically similar to Soros and his kind of globalist agenda. I mean, they love Silicon Valley, which has been so horribly, horribly bad. But all they can do is support Silicon Valley and bash Republicans and conservatives. BLM is definitely Soros funded. That's like, there's a paper trail. That's not even a conspiracy theory. That's a true conspiracy. Right, Doug? That ain't no pink lizard from Jupiter. So I don't like the formulation of saying it's a post-intellectual situation, but I get his point. And then, did you guys see there was that open letter with all those people signed it and said, we're for free speech and we're for open debate and we're against cancel culture. And that was, I posted this on my Facebook page yeah, that's great. But the whole first paragraph is Trump is some authoritarian nightmare. And even though the right is so bad and they're so terrible, we just want to say that we don't support cancel culture and we're for free speech. Could you be weaker? Could you be? I felt like that was a really cowardly way of putting it. And then to see people on the right signing that letter, I thought that was kind of stupid. But I love how much publicity this thing is getting and how it really has shown that the left, and maybe that's the plan, maybe that was actually kind of genius. It shows how intolerant the left is, because you can't even say that. Like, they didn't take any political positions except literally anti-Trump progressive positions in that letter. They just said we're against cancel culture and we're for free speech. And that's what a lot of people have a problem with. And they're coming right out and saying it. Some trans writer at Vox said, I feel less safe at Vox because the Vox president signed it. I'm less safe. Many on the left pretended cancel culture didn't exist, at least before the letter. Right. Yeah, right. They had to explain to the audience that they're really on their side. Right. It's like, it's that qualification thing again. And when you do that qualification, it's just weak. It's just weak. It comes across to me as really just, you're just a huge pussy. Just say what you think. And to have to be like, please like me, please like me. That's how it comes across. Nick, who's saying I'm transphobic? My statement was transphobic. They had to explain to audience that that statement is transphobic. Yeah, how does we're for free speech and against cancel culture? That's transphobic, because the trans activists are for canceling anybody who says that sex is science and not, in your head, like J.K. Rowling. What a courageous woman she is, don't you think? I mean, I don't agree with her politics, but this is huge. There are people, like, I feel like I want to print their picture and put them on my wall, just because I think they're really courageous right now. And she's one of them. I don't even agree with her, but she's come out and said this trans business is erasing women. Yeah, the left is fighting itself. They even attacked Noam Chomsky, who's responsible for a lot of this mess that we're in. Yeah. Well, Doug says, what is safety? Do we have to maintain someone's blood pressure and body chemistry? Or can what does it mean to be offended? Yeah. It's just a feeling. That right there offended me. So they don't like women. There's something super creepy with that whole like putting men in our bathrooms and our locker rooms. And, when you talk about the pedophilia and the creepy sex stuff at the sort of power centers of our society that we're learning about, I don't know. Yeah, I think this trans stuff is really deviant. Doug says, yeah, J.K. Rowling is heroin. Great call. Yeah, right? I mean, it took a lot of guts. Look at the flack she's getting. All of the actors that played the main characters in her books, in the movies, came out openly and publicly against her. Like, nobody gives a shit what she's done for them, that they had this great relation. How can you be... Only the left is so gross as to just toss out their family and their friends and people who've done so much for them. And that's like, even this trans person who wrote this letter kind of upset about Vox, Matt Iglesias signing this letter, she starts out, oh my God, did I just misgender her? It's actually a guy. He starts out saying that he's grateful for everything that Vox has done for him, and that they were there for him during his transition, and that even this Matt Iglesias has been nothing but kind and wonderful. But let me just tell you that I think he should be canceled. Yeah, Owen Benjamin got in all his stuff because of his one comment about not giving 5-year-olds hormones. Yeah, they've really broken some people. But I think some people, like Owen, kind of went off the deep end. I don't really know what he's doing right now, but like it got to him. I don't know. It got to Milo, and it got to him. Daniel Radcliffe wouldn't be an actor if it wasn't for J.K. Rowling. That's right. He's stiff. He's weird. I don't even know why he got that role, to be honest. Owen's back. Well, that's good to hear. I watched a video where he was crying and playing like video of some guy who died, and then he was like saying weird kind of racist stuff, to be honest. And I was like, oh my God. You know, it's like the left attacks. Milo did that. Owen did that. Do I think trans women are offensive to real women? No. I don't really care. I mean, I didn't used to care. It's offensive if you tell me you have a right to come into my bathroom, and even if I'm uncomfortable, I'm not allowed to tell the manager, because I'm a Karen. I want to be able to tell the manager. What would all us Karens do if we couldn't tell the manager? That's my personal lived experience, and I have a right to that. If you don't take your kid to see drag queen story time, it's a sign of cis privilege. Yeah. Your kid needs to be indoctrinated with the male pee-pee. Oh, hey, Ashley's here. Welcome, Ashley. We'll just do this for a few more minutes. How do you guys like this live show? If Doug were here, it'd be even more exciting. I mean, Doug, you're here in chat, but he cut out for a bit, but yeah. I miss Jordan Peterson. Yeah, me too. God, I miss him. He would have so much to say. Did anybody watch that interview with him and Michaela? That was pretty good. But it was sad at the end there. He's like, okay, this has been stressful. I gotta go. And I've been so sick. I know what that's like. Like, talking and being kind of on takes some energy, and when you're not well, your body starts to break down, and it's difficult. So I watched him at the end there say, I gotta stop. And that's like, oh my God, I feel for him. I've been there. I've been there. So yeah, he's got some recovering to do, but man, it was good to see him basically healthy and like alive and able to articulate points. And freaking scary almost losing somebody like that. We need everybody like that. He's so good for us. I have a nicer background than lots of people on networks. Yeah, right? Look at this. Look at this dude. Palm trees. Also, I think this green wall really flatters my skin tone. Right, Ashley? Yeah, I'm doing better. I'm on prednisone, which you can see in my pred face. But it's funny because pred really works, so I'm feeling good. And it kind of gives me this sort of hyper energy. I'm actually feeling manic like Kanye. I have so many ideas every day. and no way to implement them, and I just have to be calm. I just have to calm down. Add a few conspiracies, and the podcast would be great. We got that happening. Yeah, we can maybe try to do a Zoom double screen live stream next week with Doug. What do you guys think? We tune in for that? All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning into the very first live stream. And it was a great podcast. I had to do something with Doug out of town to make it exciting. So we'll try to figure that out. Doug, are you back in town next week? Maybe we can try to do it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to head out now. I'm going to try to figure out how to make this an audio file and upload it to the various podcast places. I guess this is a 46-minute podcast because I had a couple of missteps at the beginning. Sunny for president. I'll run. And then when they pull my hijab video out of the archives, they will crush my ambitions. Or my blackface video. Did you know I have a blackface video? Check it out. My YouTube channel. It's called White Privilege. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully with Doug. We'll actually see your faces. You'll see our faces. All right. Have a good week.